Delhi Daredevils, not quite looking the batting unit, just the one man, Jayawardene.
Yeah, he stood out, really did. Very good performance by him on a pitch that really stood up to me, because we've heard now that the BCCI are preparing all pitches, not the actual clubs and franchises, which I don't know whether that's a good thing or not.
The reason they've done that is the explanation that came from the board is that they want same pitches for all games.
But I don't think that's fair and reasonable. We like to have different types of pitches. I know Farouk might have an idea on that, but all the normal.
Perth is different from Sydney, like you have in Australia.
But you know,
Calcutta will be different from Bombay. You know,
Calcutta
more humidity there and all that.
Their pitch was normally stays down a bit lower than last year, doesn't it? This one had a bit more grass on it than I saw before. They thought it was low and slow, but last year it was even lower and slower. If you actually
and it turned. Narain was turning right from the word go.
Right from the word go.
He bowled magnificently.
Yeah.
You know.
On the subject of Narain, there were many question marks that he's a mystery spinner. He was good in the first season, but I was just looking at a few stats. He still has that mystery around him.
Well, I don't know why. I don't know why the mystery. Perhaps I was trained as a wicket keeper. You see him grip the ball. You see the ball leave his fingers. You see it in the air and off the pitch. It's like Chandrasekhar. It's like a split-second computerized effect. A good keeper or a good batsman should be able to pick him straight away.
Did you see anything different when he does? I mean, is it easy on
the
television?
Oh yeah, you can tell. You can tell his off breaks from his leg breaks and all that. You know, same as Ashwin. You can tell his, you know, the dusra or the one that goes away. You can tell if you look closely. But you got to look for it. You know, you got to be conscious. The batsman has got to be conscious that a bowler is bowling that far too often, and he's got to, you know, otherwise he's no chance.
Right. The difference with Narain, what I've seen today, in the past, he's been in and out of the West Indies team, and he didn't bowl that well in Australia either. He's bowled too short in the past. I noticed tonight that he bowled a lot fuller and a little bit slower in the air. And they still, even his own guys, the West Indian guys, don't know which way he spins it.
That's a very, very good point, Dino, because if you bowl short, there's nothing in it. You know? I mean, the batsman has ample time to come on his back foot and place it anywhere he wants to. But pitching it up, you know, he's doubtful whether he's going to turn this way or that way. And he was back-to-back excellent fielding, a great slip catch there as well.
Right, so maybe the batsmen who are not picking it need to take some help from the wicket keepers, like Farouk mentioned, because wicket keepers are good at picking those.
They're weird people.
We're available.
Very weird people.
We're available.
Right.
Well, there are these highly paid batting coaches and highly paid coaches that are there. What do they do? I mean, I'm not critical of them,
maybe
but surely they should be able to help them. That this is the guy who's turning the ball this way, so face him that way. You know, these are the little things that matter.
Interestingly, he mentions coaches. Well, Delhi Daredevils seem to have 3 bowlers in their coaching line. I saw Mushtaq, I saw T.S. Sekhar, I saw Simmons there.
Complete mystery.
Would help having a batting coach if you're batting struggling?
Oh, look, I always thought 11 guys have got a bat, and there's only 5 or 6 or 7 guys have got a bowl. So, and most times in one-day cricket, it's the batsmen who win you the games. In Test cricket,
and none of the coaches are batsmen, are they?
None of them.
Mushi,
that's what I mentioned. None of them.
Mushi doesn't know which side of the bat to hold. Great guy, great mate of mine, Mushi.
You know. Right, 3 of them who are bowlers, but we also have the second screen. This is an online app that we have by which viewers can send in their questions, and we've got a few questions coming in already, and here's one, and I'll put it to both of you probably can answer. Is KKR looking like the defending champions? They're looking strong to defend their title. I'll start with you.
They were rusty early, but they finished it off. They were classy in the end. If they were chasing 155, they would have got them.
They were made to look. They were made to look far better than what they actually were.
Oh, that's interesting. So they were not that good. Delhi was poor.
No, unfortunately, Delhi, you know, has been stricken with injuries. Otherwise, they would have had a very good side. You know,
it's an interesting thing he's got. On the last ball of their innings, Delhi, they're 128. They hit the ball at the feet and they don't bother to run. Then they realise, oh, I better run. You run no matter what.
Now, do you need a batting coach to tell you that?
Sometimes you've got to shake the cage a little bit to get
these
the,
are experienced players.
No,
they're highly paid guys.
No, here's the problem. So you learnt.
They're not highly paid?
Well, they are. You learnt, and I learnt our craft by speaking and watching. Sure. These guys rely a classroom situation. Oh, well, is that what you've got to do?
Every run matters, Dino. Every run matters in this. In the limited overs contact, and they should be fighting for every run. You know?
You talk about shaking them up. I know that T.S. Sekhar is a hard taskmaster. I'm sure he's going to shake them up. But also, let's quickly show you the scorecard there, the game that we're talking about. For all of you who missed that match, here's a quick look at the scorecard of that game. Delhi Daredevils batted first, were in fact put into bat, and only Mahela Jayawardene notched up 66 runs, and that is what helped Delhi reach 128. Kolkata Knight Riders chased that target in 18.4 overs with a loss of just 4 wickets. Talking about Delhi, Farooq, their poor fielding did them no favors. A small target, and that's where you need the fielding to come good.
Couldn't believe it. And they have fielding coaches there as well.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
You know, the mind boggles. You know? but I mean, the thing is that they were throwing at the non-strikers end when there was absolutely no necessary. You know, every chance of getting an overthrow. An overthrow is another 4 runs. Can't they afford to give that? You know, I mean, there was back to us some brilliant fielding when there was a chance of a run out by Warner. You know, unfortunately the bowler didn't back up. You know, Ashish. Otherwise, there would have been a run out. Right. I mean, these are the little things that matter. And that's where you have your coaches to guide your youngsters and to tell you. I'm sure the experienced players realize that. Right. But KKR, as I said earlier, they were made to look a better side. But they certainly played like worthy champions. They're a good side. And I'm sure against better opposition, you know, with due respect to Delhi, I'm sure they will play much better. Yes.
Nikhil, in the field, you got to want the ball. You want to be the one that takes the. That's why
not the one who's running away from the ball.
There was a couple of guys were coming like this, you know, like I don't want to touch it. Now that's see, your fielding tells me your team spirit. It tells me whether the keeper and everyone's getting on. When I see guys going like this, I'm starting to worry. Now there are some guys in the team not normally play for Delhi because there's so many injuries, isn't there? But ultimately is this, the team that's going to win the IPL is the 7 Indian contingent players.
Yes, absolutely.
Not so much your 4 overseas players. And they were a bit poor today, the Delhi Indian players.
See, if Dino wasn't so well paid by NDTV, he's offered his service as the fielding coach, batting coach.
He was a brilliant fielder in his days. Yeah,
of course.
And talking about practicing, I remember Mohammad Azharuddin once telling us all journalists that I keep practicing not to get used to the ball should get used to my hand, and that's how he used to practice so many hours. I guess that's probably...
He was probably the greatest Indian fieldsman.
We had a wicket keeper in Essex, played for England, Tonka Taylor. He was perhaps the worst wicket keeper ever to play for England. And I think when Lance Gibbs was bowling, you know, playing, he used to say, aim for these gloves. He used to tell the bowler, you know, aim for these gloves. No, he didn't bother to move his gloves.
We've got fielders like that too. But talking about the image of the day, Dino, I'll talk to you about that. First ball wicket for Brett Lee. Yeah, the mentorship is giving him more confidence.
Yeah, and I felt sorry for Chan, the young kid, Umkat Chan, wasn't it? Yeah, and right. Here we go, on the IPL, and he gets an absolute jaffa first up. It swung late, hits the top of off stump.
But again, he played for a straight ball. He knows that Brett Lee bowls an outswinger. Yeah. You should have given that little bit of an allowance there. You know, he played for an absolute straight. It was a beauty.
It was.
It was a late outswinger. The ball that you don't want to get earlier on in the innings. But unfortunately, I felt sorry for the young man.
He did. But opening batsman, they got it, you know, and Sonny Gavaskar said it. You know, they get paid the big bucks because they've got to face the new ball against the big, ugly, fast bowlers.
Ugly?
So, yeah, most of them are ugly. They call them ugly.
But tell you what, Unmukt's not a natural opener. He's been batting in the middle order. Maybe
it
they pushed him because...
they're disorganised at the moment.
Just put an end to Brett Lee's modelling career, you know, that calling him ugly.
Maybe because Sehwag was missing and he was pushed up. Probably will come down the order in the games that will come up.
I thought the turning point of the match was at 88 for 5 when both got out. I thought that was the major turning point. There's still another 6 overs to go on the match. They still could have punched out 140, 145, but their heads were down. No, their heads were down.
The heads were down. Mahela, I mean, hats off to him. How much can one man do? He had no support at all, you know, and that's what Delhi needs. They need a batting coach probably desperately, or they need some good batsmen to help Mahela.
There's one thing that happened tonight that I must admit I cry good laughter. Bisla.
Yes.
He got hit twice in the Saladas.
He got hit where the sun doesn't shine.
That's it. And I laughed.
The poor guy was in pain, Dino.
And speaking with a really high voice.
Right.
You know how it hurts.
On that
the wind out of him.
Not so funny note, we'll have to wind up the discussion. We've completely run out of time. Farooq Engineer, Dean Jones, it's great having both of you. Of course, they'll be back tomorrow. We'll talk about the Mumbai Indians game. But